This Xfinity Series Championship Odds 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code RACE-SGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rebet, a new sports book available in 45 states. Download Rebet in your app store and use promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. We're also brought to you by the SGPN College Football Playoff Challenge. It's free to enter and a $1,000 grand prize. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP to enter.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
For the 557th time in our illustrious careers, it is, of course, time to talk racing things. The NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Yeah, Cody, you made a face when I said 557. Do you not feel that old today?
I don't. You know, it's crazy, Rod. Last night, I published my 400th article for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. 557 episodes of this. And yes, I was just a loudmouth in the Slack channel before that. And yeah, I have to thank you for all of it. So 557 is old. Speaking of old, by the way, happy birthday to our guy, Boji Joe, because it is his birthday today. I think he's also 557 today. So shout out to him at the Jellyfish. They have a long life. If you didn't know, right? I think that's what is that what his picture is? I'm not.
I feel like it's a shrimp.
Maybe. Either way. Sea life, it lives a long time.
Sure.
So, 52. Well, that's 557, 52. It's pretty close, right?
You don't look a day old over 556, my friend.
Right.
Preston checking in saying, gentlemen, perfect timing. Forgot who moved to what teams during the offseason in Xfinity. Now you get to find out who you're betting on as well.
And it is a Jellyfish. I was right. Thank you. But yes, there has been a lot of movement and a lot of changes in the Xfinity Series, and we'll be covering those as we walk through the championship odds today, which is pretty exciting. Glad that we're finally, we're a little bit slow getting them up, but hey, they're up. Now we get an opportunity to talk about it. Win totals are starting to populate too, so I got a feeling we'll be talking about those next season. And yes, Preston, you are correct. If you round up 52, you get to 557, basic math. So, yeah.
Although it's funny, we were just talking about our kids' schedules and how we're glad we are that we went to school when we did and not now, because these kids, man, that simple math is not
fifth
simple.
grade is hard, man. Half the time I'm looking at her shit and I'm just like, yeah, sorry, kid. hope that they taught you what you're supposed to be doing with this, because fuck.
Yeah, there's no way. Laura checking in saying, hello, guys. It's Joe's birthday. Yeah, we do know that for sure. Derek, Undead Gaming, Rodman, and the Zebra. Hey, what's up, Derek?
What's up, Derek? How's it going?
Seen ya. Yeah, so good to see everybody in the chat today. Good to see that this is obviously the last episode of the week as we start to get toward the Christmas holiday, or the holiday season, I should say. Yeah, listen, I'm excited to talk Xfinity odds, and I believe that this will be a fun conversation to be had, because yeah, we are a little bit late in the season for it, but it's the perfect time for us, Cody, because we've had plenty to talk about leading up until now.
That is not, in previous seasons, I don't want to say we struggled, because we always found things to talk about, but there was not the plethora of things that there is to talk about. Like, these actually came out like a week ago, and we just haven't had time to get to them until now, because we've had so many things on the docket, which is a great thing. So, yeah, glad to glad to hear it. And Derek, by the way, saying what's up? How are we doing? Doing great. All getting ready for the holiday season here. And he says Justin goes back to back, calling it now. He will be running for another title. Boy, it's one of those things where maybe once you finally get it, they start falling in place more. And now that he's gotten it done, maybe he can get it done more. We'll definitely be talking about it.
Yes, indeed, we will. Look, so here's the thing. We're going to be pulling a few stats through the course of the season on MyBookie, and we're happy to give you some fun facts about all the odds that we got coming out right now. But I'm highlighting one in particular, and you can use mybookie.com or mybookie.ag promo code SGPN. Cortland Sutton has a receiving total of 66.5. I know this is not NASCAR related, but it's all we've got for to bet on, especially today. I'm going to take the over on that one, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But make sure you go check out our friends over at MyBookie right now, mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. All right, so listen, Xfinity Series. There's been several changes over the course of the last few weeks. One in particular is kind of brand new in that Parker Retzlaff will now be in Alpha Prime Racing for 2025. We were wondering where he'd end up.
R.I.P. to Parker Retzlaff and his great, promising career, Rod.
Hey, listen, I don't know. Can he elevate this equipment?
No.
You don't think so?
I mean, he can maybe. I mean, sure, he can elevate it, but how far can you elevate something that's not good? I don't. It sucks because he really had a good opportunity in the 31. He was taking advantage of it, making the most of it. Obviously, it translated into getting Cup Series start. He almost wins a Cup Series race, and then the entire thing is about how he fucked it up for Chevrolet and all this. And you hope that this isn't blowback from this. I mean, hopefully it's just he didn't have, like, not that that's any better probably, but he didn't have the funding to continue in the 31 car, and this was what he had the funding for. Maybe that's the case. It's still a Chevy team, so I don't know how much Chevy support they actually get, but yeah, it'll be a guy that we'll probably highlight on super speedways because he's shown to be great there. But it sucks because you're not going to get many other opportunities to really get in on the guy.
He and Brendan Poole will be teammates, and Boji Joe saying the glasses. Parker, I think, was called a nerd by Rod. Hey, listen, I said
coming from
game recognizes game. Right? I know I'm a huge nerd. Like there's comic books that are sitting on my desk right now that I'm reading, and I've got all kinds of nerdy stuff that lays about this room. So nerd recognizes nerd. But speaking of Parkers, Cody, I've been having some fun as of late checking our Twitter because we've gotten some eyeballs on our tweets thanks to some folks that have been tweeting at some folks. And when you wake up in the morning and you see Parker Kligerman liking a tweet, when you see Dirty Mo Doe liking a tweet, and Cody woke up this morning with
Corey LaJoy liked, oh gosh. Yeah, no, shout out to our guy at Wizards Dungeon. He had posted his Spotify Wrapped, which I was going to try and somewhat quickly pull up, which I'm not doing as quickly as I had hoped to do. But yeah, here we go. So Adrian, shout out to you, but posted a Spotify Wrapped, Stacking Pennies, Dale Jr. Download, then us, Rod, NASCAR Gambling Podcast, then the Money Lap, which is Parker Kligerman's show, then Kevin Harvick's show. So Corey LaJoy, Dale Jr., Rod and Cody, Parker Kligerman, and Kevin Harvick. I mean, what a top five that is. But then, yes, you do get Dirty Mo Doe, or Dirty Mo Media, rather. Dirty Mo Doe didn't make the wrap. Sorry. All right, to them. But Dirty Mo Media replying, and yeah, Corey LaJoy replying, Parker Kligerman replying, which all pretty cool. And then Mark Martin liked our tweet. I think it was yesterday when it was 60 days to the Daytona 500, because I had posted some stats about he was so fucking dominant in the Xfinity Series. That was before they limited him to 5 starts, Rod, and Cup guys just went and owned the Xfinity Series. And yeah, Mark Martin did that in that 60 car a crazy amount of times, but he was liking our tweets yesterday. And Zane Smith's wife has liked our tweets in the past. We've had some pretty cool people liking our tweets, which is, hey, it's fun.
Hey, it just means to me that we're out there in the public. And like I said the other day, too, when you could be mentioned in the same breath as some of these other guys. I know Andrew says, you guys are my number 2 on Wrapped, even number 1 for NASCAR Podcast. Yeah. Boji Joe saying he's Dirty Mo. No, you're Dirty Bo. That's
or Dirty Joe, depending on how you want to go.
See, you got all of those.
Wow,
Dirty Bojo.
I think we just wrote a Dr. Seuss book.
Dirty Bojo. That is a Dr. Seuss book. No, listen, and you know, as we hit the off season, obviously it's a time to reflect. And I know that the podcast platforms love to give you what you've listened to, but we've said it before, and I think we'll say it a million times over. Just thank you for even allowing us to continue to do this, because when we see you post your Spotify raps, which, by the way, go ahead and do that on Twitter or Blue Sky or Gray Skies or whatever you're on. Just toss that up there and let everybody know that we're a part of your lives, because we definitely appreciate it and we love being a part of yours each and every day. All right, so we covered the Parker Retzlaff news. Anything else in the Xfinity world or even Cup world? I don't want to get back into the lawsuit thing, because I feel like
I don't think, although I've been sort of disconnected today, I suppose I should browse through at least Bob's Twitter quick, but I didn't really see any news today. I think we're pretty much caught up on things. The crew chiefs for calling announced. Okay. And then, it's all charter talk and lawsuit talk, which we covered yesterday. We had an F1 episode yesterday it's still NASCAR Gambling Podcast, but talked about F1 futures. But if you want to hear us talk about the lawsuit, the charters, all that stuff that went down yesterday, go back and listen to that episode, because we covered all that stuff right there at the beginning. And then listen to the rest of the episode, because it was a lot of fun talking that as well.
It certainly was. All right. Let me tell you real quick first about our first annual college football playoff challenge. Pick sides and totals for every game with a chance to win a $1,000 grand prize. It's free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CFP. And so, we're going to dig into these Xfinity Series championship odds that we have.
I did one more thing that I did see today was the Lionel released their top 10 die-cast cars that sold. I thought it was an interesting list this season, Rod. So Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Budweiser late model, of course, the number one car, to nobody's surprise, right? Chase Elliott's Hooters car for the Texas win, RIP to Hooters, but that was number two. Again, no surprise, most popular driver, Kyle Larson, the HendrickCars.com throwback. That was the this year was the Terry Labonte one, was it? Or was that last year?
I think so. No, that was last year.
I think it was. I don't remember. But either way, that was third. William Byron's Daytona 500. Brad Keselowski's Castrol throwback car. Sixth place on the list, Rod. Corey LaJoy. Oh, let's fucking go. You gotta love it. Then another Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott car. Tyler Reddick and Joey Logano wrapped out the top 10. So just sort of an interesting list for the top 10 diecast cars.
Jimmy Johnson's 48 lows wasn't on. I've tried to buy them all out to make it number one on the list.
Not in the 48. Yeah, 84 probably sold a couple.
What you can't see over here is boxes of 48 cars just to try to.
You can see. I've got a lot of diecasts here and like shelves here. I've got a decent amount of JJ, and actually, I think this up here is a JJ 84 hauler, which I got, which is pretty
84
cool.
hauler.
I had that NASCAR fan rewards or whatever. I ended up just getting a bunch of Fanatics gift cards from that. So I actually yesterday just ordered a bunch of shit from the NASCAR shop, like cashing all my points basically. And I got a Jimmy Johnson. I think I got a Jimmy Johnson car and t-shirt. So you'd be proud of that.
I am proud.
And there's a lot of cool stuff over there too. But nice. Preston saying he wishes Apple Podcast did the same thing Spotify does. We'd undoubtedly be up there listening to every show unless they're past the race before I get to them. You should still listen anyways. No, I'm just kidding. But I wish that Apple did too, Rod. Although at this point, I just wish Apple Podcasts could work because that would be nice. So
it's a majority of how people listen to us too. And that's the sad part about it also.
So if you don't see, just a real quick, PSA, I guess is what I was looking for. Public service announcement. Yes. If you're having trouble finding it on Apple, it's not our fault. Apple has fucked up their podcasts. So we're on Spotify and YouTube and other places too. If you're looking for episodes and can't seem to find them. But yeah.
Hey Siri, play me the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
Let's go.
Boop, boop. All right. We're going to talk about these Xfinity odds real quick as I do my worst impression of Siri. But before I do that, I want to actually say that, of course, I remember the Great Space Coaster. Get on board with the Great Space Coaster. That's for Boji Joe. No one else cares. But let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all of sports. You can win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog streaks. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, Formula One, and more. Oh my. Take it all out there on Underdog Fantasy. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Just told you about the Cortland Sutton number that we're at 66.5. Definitely going to take the higher than on that. That dude's been kind of on fire lately. I know the Chargers held him to less than this last time, but I think he's going to get the more than, the higher than, the better than side of it tonight. So go get that as well. You can also sign up now with our promo code RACESGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's underdogfantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN. We're brought to you by Rebet. Rebet is a new social sports book available in 45 states. If you're counting, that's 5 states less than there actually are in the country. See, I am good at math. There's plenty of betting opportunities. They're all available on Rebet. It's easy to use and great for people in states where traditional sports book may be restricted, which is way more and higher of a number than I'm comfortable with, including this one that I'm sitting in right now. Go download Rebet in the App Store and use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $100. That's Rebet, promo code SGPN. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and start digging into these championship futures for the Xfinity Series. No surprise where it starts, but what I'm surprised about, Cody, we talked about so if you go back and listen to the Formula One show that we did yesterday, we talked about kind of the steep cliff that drops off between the top 3 drivers, I guess, maybe the top 4. 3rd and 4th place kind of falls off a cliff there. But this actually takes a steep turn after the first one. I say it's steep because it feels kind of steep between plus 350 for Justin Allgaier, who is the favorite, and 6-1 for Austin Hill.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why does it drop off so far? It's like I get Allgaier obviously just won the championship. You get your normal turnover. A lot of guys leave and graduate into the Cup Series or go elsewhere or whatever. Allgaier is one thing that remains always the same, and is back in the 7 car for JRM, and he just won, and Phoenix has always been his playground. And it's like, okay, and Derek mentioned it earlier on, right? He's picking him to go back to back. The books are too, plus 350. When the next guy on the list is 6-1, it makes it tough to bet, especially right now. I would say obviously he can do it again because he's done it. It did take him a long time to get there, but sometimes we've seen it before, right? Once you can get there and get it done, it's easier to get back and do it again. So there's that. This is when I would mark and say, let's keep an eye on this throughout the season. Maybe he gets off to a rough start or has a dry patch at some point. The odds drop. That's when you're going to want to jump on him, because is he going to be a contender at the end of the year? Yes. Is he going to have a chance to get in the Final Four? Yes. He gets into the Final Four quite often. If he makes it there, he's got a shot. I don't want to bet this in December at plus 350 is the only problem, but deserved to be a top. Yes, I think he should be. Defending champion, returning, same team, strong team. We'll talk about the JGR guys in a bit, but I think that JRM, this is like their year to be the top team pretty easily, Rod. I love JGR, and we've made a lot of money betting on them the last couple of years, but their driver lineup leaves a lot to be desired this season, I think, and that's going to be sort of interesting when it comes to battling for this championship. I think that does vault Allgaier to be the favorite. So deserved to be the favorite, but I wouldn't bet him at this number right now. Keep an eye on it and bet it later.
And so when you talk about that too, because plus 350 now seems like, well, okay, he's a returning champion, sure. But to your point, last season, right, we were talking him up as I talked him up as a championship contender at the beginning of the year before the season even started. And then he hits this patch where he finishes 8th at Daytona, and that's great, right? You're excited for the season. You're like, okay, that's a decent finish at a super speedway. But then he's 28th at Atlanta. He's 10th at Vegas. He's 29th at Phoenix. He's 13th in Austin. And you're thinking, man, this is not the season we expected out of Justin Allgaier. We expected him to be leading a ton of laps, being in charge of races and leading, especially at Phoenix, right? When he started 5th and ended up 29th. So there was that patch in there. Now, granted, I don't think this is going to take a gigantic swing, but maybe you could pick up a few, 10, 20, 30, maybe 50 points on the other side of it if you wait a little bit for him to maybe start the season off a little slow, or to your point, have kind of a mid-season slump like he did between Atlanta and Talladega in the middle of the season, where he finished 30th, 17th, 30th, 36th, and 25th before finishing off the season at a championship clip. So those are the types of undulations you're looking for.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind too is, like, I don't think this number is going to get much lower than plus 350. Yeah, 2-1 maybe at some point if he's just dominating the season. But reminder, right? This is the championship playoff format, and you have to be one of the 4 that gets there, and then you have to get there. You have to perform, and he did it this past season. But so it's just wait and kind of see later on. If you want to bet him, you're going to have an opportunity. This isn't like I got to get this number now because in season it's going to get worse. It's not. So just hold off and bet him later and hope for a dip. I mean, sometimes you wish that guys like this go through a little bit of a dip, because if he comes out and has a 5-race stretch where everything just goes wrong and his teammates wreck him and he has pit road problems and pianos fall out of the sky, does this all sound like stuff that we've heard before? Yes, but you know that they're going to get it figured out and have a good shot in the playoffs. That's when you're going to want to take advantage and bet on.
I agree with you on that one. All right, so then let's talk about Hill, because obviously we've pretty much exhausted the Allgaier scenario. So what about Hill? 6-1. I mean, we all know that Austin Hill had a great season. He finished 4th in the final standings overall, and we thought he would be maybe a bigger player in the championship race than he was. He led 5 laps in Phoenix, started 5th, ended up in 10th by the end of the race. 4 race wins last year. I mean, we know that his equipment's going to stay the same. We know that his teammate's going to stay the same. So is this an opportunity for him to win a championship this year? And is 6-1 intriguing enough to take it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, again, listing out the drivers, he's probably deserved or close to deserve to be the second guy. 6-1, again, is not making me race to the window to want to bet on him. Austin Hill, a veteran, we've seen what he can do, and we know that he's close, right? And he's been close a couple of times, and he can pop up, win anywhere, anytime, any weekend. You love to see that. The RCR equipment, I think, still leaves a little something to be desired, maybe, because I think that they have been a little bit of a step back, but Hill's been able to make up that gap. We've seen Love, and we'll talk about him in a bit. He's been able to make up that gap as well. So maybe they kind of take that next step as they're continuing to go. If we think JGR maybe falls off just a touch because of their drivers this season, which I could see happening, that opens up more opportunities for Hill. So again, it's not to say that I don't think he's going to win it or I don't think that he can, because I think that he can, but worth betting on at 6-1. I can't pull the trigger at this low of a number.
2022, he finished 6th in the standings. 2023, he finished 5th in the standings. 2024, he finished 4th in the standings. Leads me to believe that
he's working his way up there.
2020. Okay, so 2025, he'll be 3rd. 2027 champion.
He's got it in the next couple of years here.
The 2027 Xfinity Series champion will be Austin Hill as he works his way up through the rankings. So, I'm with you on this one. This is not, he'll be in the mix at the end of the year. He's definitely going to be a player to win a bunch of races, but I don't think he's competing for a championship quite yet. All right, that brings us to the next driver in. Okay, this one, I don't even know why is 7-1. I know name recognition is something. Books want your money on this one, because Sam Mayer, 7-1 in Haas factory equipment now, not even in JRM equipment.
So interesting. So this is now going to be the Haas factory team, right? It's no longer SHR. Now in the Cup Series, it's going to hurt them. They're down to a 1-car team. It's going to be tough. I don't think the Custer is going to be that good. We'll talk more about that later. In the Xfinity Series side of things, really nothing is changing. Everything's staying the same. It's still a 2-car team. They're just renaming it from SHR to Haas factory team. So it's going to have a new name, but be the same.
Sauber, but it's still AlphaTauri.
But it's still AlphaTauri, right? So it's going to be the same cars, and we've seen Cole Custer and Riley Herbst. Custer obviously won the championship 2 seasons ago, back to the Final Four this year. or this past season, and Riley Herbst performed well also. So I think that the cars are going to be good. And Sam Mayer, we saw what he can do at Junior Motorsports, and he just had every possible bad luck that could happen to the guy last year. Sometimes you just have those seasons. Sam Mayer is a guy that I haven't really looked too much into the win totals yet. I think he's listed. I'm going to be looking at his over because he's very capable, especially with SVG moving on, road courses. Sam Mayer is really fucking good driver, and I love him. And we've made a lot of money on Sam over the last couple of seasons. Again, only 7-1. That's what sort of concerns you. The number's not big enough to want to bet on it. But I'm not shocked to see him again. So I would say this sort of looks like the Truck Series last year, Rod. I think is a good way to put this. You've got a handful of really good guys at the top of the board, and then a lot of not as good drivers, even though they're in good cars farther down the board. And I think that that's going to make a difference, and that's going to make guys like Allgaier and Hill and Mayer stand out at the top. And I think Sam's going to get plenty of wins this year. I think they're going to have a successful season. And could he be racing for a championship? Absolutely. Another guy, I think really all three of these top guys, Allgaier, Hill, Mayer, let's put highlights next to their name. And if and when they go into that slump during the year, that's going to be our opportunity to gobble up them at bigger prices. The number's still not big enough to make me want to take the bait and bet on Sam Mayer. But I'm actually very excited for Sam Mayer this season.
TK saying Haas was generally better than RCR. You can see why the books rate him high. It's not that he doesn't. I mean, well, Cody made the point that he's talented enough on his own, anyways, that he could do this. But I think for me, the biggest part is that if anvils fell out of the sky for him in junior or motorsports equipment, then
yeah, but they didn't 2 years ago when he had 4 wins, all coming late in the season, and they fell out of the sky for Ty Majeski this season, and he still won the championship. So yes, it just seemed like everything went wrong, but they still got that win late at the Roval. They rallied and got it together. Yes, he was a JRM, but he was never the top car at JRM, which, now he's kind of the lead guy over at Haas. And again, they just won the championship 2 seasons ago, Buster, and they almost won it again this past season. So I think that, I really like Sam this year, and I think he's going to have a good season, but I'm not betting him. Again, the number's just not big enough for me to want to get in on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one as well. Although Boji Joe says Jess wants to hear about Chris Wright. How does he go from an ARCA LeCruiser to Xfinity? I know what you mean, but I wanted to read that straight the way it was. How does he do that, Cody?
Here's the answer for you, Rod. Money.
I was about to
sponsorship. You got so excited that you couldn't even get the money signs up. Money, sponsorship, backing, support. That's how you get that type of ride.
Making it rain, kids, where it counts. Because what is NASCAR if nothing but a money grab?
Boji Joe has a question, Rod. Do we say Sheldon Creed yet? We
have not, and we will, and we'll do that on the other side of the break. Look at that big tease. Let me tell you first about mybookie.ag. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie has been running on SGPN for years. You can check out their new and improved website, which looks great on mobile, by the way, plus props for every game and the live dealer casino, even early new cash out options. I told you earlier about my favorite bet over on MyBookie. That is Cortland Sutton over 65.5 receiving yards. You can find that at -124. I know it's juiced a little bit, but Cody, you only pay the juice if you lose. And Cortland Sutton is at least going to get 67 receiving yards this week, or tonight, if you're listening to it on Thursday night. And if he doesn't, then whatever. Whatever number is higher then use that number instead when we edit this for later consumption. You can go to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds. And you can get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props. You can build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or you can even have Rhythm build a model for you. Now you can track props in the Rhythm app as well, whether they're NFL picks, NFL props, college football, college basketball, NBA. Rhythm has it Look, I just told you about that Cortland. The reason I'm so confident about it, Rhythm, I built that model. Rhythm told me to take the over onto the 66.5 receiving yards. So I'm going to trust Rhythm to do the right thing for me and cash this ticket for all of you guys as well. So claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. I did not have Cortland Sutton playing a huge role on my bingo card on this particular show today. So my apologies, Cortland, if you go out and lay an egg.
Yeah, it better be a good game now, Rod. You talked him up so much.
Sure did. All right. So did we say Sheldon Creed? Let's say Sheldon Creed now. All right. 7-1 for Sheldon Creed to win the championship.
Rod, who did Sheldon Creed race for last year?
Well, he raced for the team that you love the most, which is JGR.
And he made the championship 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he won the...
No,
he didn't do either one.
No.
At 7-1, look, we love Sheldon Creed, and we've tried so hard to call the shot on Sheldon, Rod. And I think that he could be a championship contender. He's a Truck Series champion on a good team. He's moving from Gibbs. He's over at Haas Factory team now. It's much like I just talked about with Mayer. It should be a good team, and he should perform well. But until you see him perform well, how could you bet him at 7-1? Now, again, I hate to keep saying it for everybody, but this is another guy that I think has a shot at winning it and could figure it out. And once he gets that first win, Rod, they're going to start clicking off, and he could have 3-4 wins this season. It wouldn't like blow my mind if he does, because we've seen him come so close. But if he couldn't get it done in JGR, Haas is still a good team and good cars, and Sheldon is such a good driver. He could get there and do it, but I'm not going to bet him at only 7-1. Again, it's just there's not enough of so far. None of the guys we've talked about sticks out so much more above everyone else at this number that you got to go get him right now. Sheldon, if he comes out and they have some issues early or they hit that slump at some point, just like the other guys, I have a feeling I'm going to end up with a lot of Xfinity Series futures, Rod, because my entire season is going to be spent who's not doing well right now and betting on them because we know they're going to bounce back and do better later. I can't do it.
So I will tell you, and Boji Joe brings up, we'll obviously talk through these because we're going to talk about the win totals in another episode later on. Obviously, with Boji Joe saying plus 140 for over one win.
But it's over.
It's over
1.5. So he has to get 2 wins.
Oh, see, then that's not even close. So, but here's the thing. If you give me an over under on number of second place finishes for Sheldon Creed, I will take the over on that no matter what the number is, because that, my friend, is where you make money on Sheldon Creed.
I do think that he's going to win. And we're going to break down the win totals later. So we'll talk about if that's a good bet or not. But I do think that he's going to win a race. And it's not that I don't think he could, again, like all of these guys we've talked about, I think that this is, let's see. Who else on the list? Yes, I would say there's nobody else that I would put over Sheldon Creed as far as we are on the list right now. I don't think there's anybody else I would put over Sheldon Creed as should be more of a favorite. So I think they have him in the appropriate spot, which makes him one of the top 4 drivers and should put him in the championship 4 then, right? It's just this number. I'm not interested in betting it because it's not big enough for a guy that just continually can't even clinch a race, let alone a championship. Now, don't look at Daniel Hemrick a couple of years ago because we had the same thing there and he wins a title, right? But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't necessarily look, I know Boji Joe. I know that you are 1,000% on the Sheldon Creed train. He is my favorite Canadian driver that's not Canadian.
I'm going to be on that win total train too, but we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, no, I get it. I 1,000% wish the best for Sheldon Creed, but I don't have the stomach to sweat that. Like, I know, Cody, you talked about it yesterday when we were talking about fun. It's about the sweat. I get it, but that's not a sweat I want. Like, I just don't.
You have to. It's the appropriate types of sweats, Rob.
Yeah. This is not the sweat that I want.
Rod, right, I have a question for you. Do we have some breaking news on this next guy?
No, we do not, because guess what? Okay. Chandler Smith at 8-1 without a ride. This is why I think sometimes the books are like, I don't know. Here, let's throw a dart. Where should we put Chandler Smith? And they landed on the 8, and that was it.
So where? So he's 8-1, which if he was at JGR still, sign me the fuck up, right? If he's going to JRM, sign me up. If he's going to be at Haas, sign me up. If he's at RCR, probably. But none of those teams have rides that we know of left.
Alpha Prime. Does Alpha Prime give up the other seat for Brendan
Maybe
Foley?
they do, but not at 8-1. Like, where could he possibly be going that makes you want to bet him at 8-1? So what's the colleague Xfinity Series lineup look like? They've got Josh Williams, and is he going to colleague? Who else do they have? Oh, they have Christian Eckes. They have Josh Williams and Christian Eckes.
They brought him in.
And Daniel Dye. So they've already got 3 guys.
Yeah.
He was there previously. Does RCR add a third car? I could see that. But you obviously you can't bet this not knowing where he's going to go. And like he had, much like Creed, last year was his best shot. He was in a JGR car and he didn't even make it to the championship 4. I just, where is he going? We don't even know, but I mean, the books had Liam Lawson listed as the Red Bull favorite, right? And it was announced today, just like I said yesterday, that he was going to be announced today as the driver. But we don't have a spot that's open that's, oh, yeah, it's not like Zane Smith. Like, we know Zane Smith's going to be in the third front row car, even though we don't technically know that. Where is Chandler going that he should be at 8-1?
Chandler Smith has Wreck-It Ralph helping him build a car to get into Sugar Rush to try to compete for the trophy. So that's what Chandler Smith's working on right now. He's got Wreck-It Ralph helping him build the car.
I mean, maybe he ends up on like a Sam Hunt or something in the 26 car. Okay, but that's not making you want to bet him at 8-1 to win the title because you're not going to win it in that car. So I don't know. I love Chandler, and I was very big on him last season, and I would love to be big on him again this year. 8-1 in the trucks, Preston says. I'd love that. But yeah, no, he doesn't even have a ride, and we don't know if he's going to be full-time. We don't know if he's going to be part-time. So I don't really, we got to know more before we could even consider a bet like this.
Yeah, move on from Chandler Smith then until he actually does find himself a ride, until Wreck-It Ralph does finish his car and he can go out and compete against Vanelli v. Pond Schweetz or whatever her name is. All right, let's move on to Connor Zilich, somebody that is also 8-1, who's actually going to be in a ride next year, a very good ride next year. Are we contemplating a JRM teammate to beat his other reigning champion?
We're not contemplating it, Rod, because we're doing it. Give me Connor Zilich at 8-1 to win this title. Look, we talk about it in the Cup Series all the time. Rookies don't have a chance. They've never won. They can't do it. It's impossible. That is not the case in the Xfinity Series. Ty Gibbs just did it a couple of years ago. We've seen guys come up. They're uber talented, and they win right away. We already saw Connor Zilich do it, Rod. He came in for a couple of races and kicked ass. Now you're putting him full-time in a JRM car. He's going to be the 1 or 2 there, depending on how you view Justin Allgaier, but he's going to be a top 2 guy at JRM. He has got a lot of money sunk into him by Trackhouse already. They want to fast track him to the Cup Series as quickly as possible. He is going to be in contention to win this championship. Now, you might be saying, well, Justin Allgaier just won it in the same car. Why didn't you? Well, Justin Allgaier is plus 350. Sam Mayer is at not Sam Mayer. Oh boy. He's sort of replacing Sam Mayer, I guess. But Connor Zilich is at 8-1. This kid is so fucking talented, Rod. We've seen this type of talent come in before into a good car. He is going to compete immediately. He's going to win races immediately. Road courses, watch out. Everywhere else, watch out. Connor Zilich is the real deal. He's one of the next drivers that we're going to be talking about for a long time. 8-1, you might not get this opportunity again. I would imagine 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now, you could still bet Justin Allgaier at 3-1, 350, and that's fine. Connor Zilich, you might not get a better number than this. If you do, you might want to take it. But again, when you're looking at the top board being weaker than normal, Allgaier, Hill, Creed, Mayer, all those guys you can shoot some holes in, right? Zilich is going to have a really good opportunity to be in the Final Four, and I think that he could deliver a championship in his first full-time season. So it's only 8-1 for a rookie first-timer, and you'd maybe like a better number, but I don't think you need a better number. I think he is that good of a driver. TK saying that he is a must bet. Absolutely. Laura says this kid is good. He is good. So give me Connor Zilich at 8-1. This is the first one where I stop and all right, I'm placing this bet today right now.
Yeah, you put that money at the window. 4 starts in the 88 to close out the Xfinity Series last year. 1 at Watkins Glen, 4th at Kansas, 12th at Homestead, 4th at Phoenix. So again, a fantastic end to his year.
Yes. Oh, yeah. This kid is really, really good, and we're going to be talking about him a ton this upcoming season.
We are indeed. Boji Joe saying, where are you going? Dave Matthews knows. Every time I hear that, I see Adam Sandler holding up the sign to Normalsville. I love Dave Matthews, by the way, is my all-time favorite group band singer performer of all time. And I've liked him since 1994, back before people even, some of you guys knew what music was or was even born in some cases. So love me some Dave Matthews. Thank you, Boji Joe, for continuing to bring me into a happy space with all of these thoughts.
And,
all right.
Yeah, TK with a good point. You just mentioned his finish at Phoenix. Rod was what, 4th place? TK saying critical that he was that strong at Phoenix. That is a great point. Already in his part-time, one of his 4 starts, got a 4th place finish at the place where they're going to have the championship at. That's a good sign.
Yep. That's what you would do, eyeball emojis on the text or on the thread or whatever. So, all right, you were really high on this guy last season, Sammy Smith, 10-1.
I don't think I was high on Sammy Smith.
You were kind of high on Sammy Smith here and there. There was a couple of times that you said his name. Sammy Smith.
I don't remember these times, but
Sammy Smith finished last season in 11th place overall. He did have 1 win. 7 top 5s and a handful of top 10s to go along with the season. So I'm not really touching him at 10-1. I don't think he can't do it. I just don't know that I want to have any part of this, seeing as I don't think he's going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Sammy Smith. I was really in on Sammy Smith a couple years ago when he came in JGR equipment. He had the 1 win, and it was at Phoenix, so you could give him something for that. Then he goes to JRM. He's sort of the 3rd string guy over there. I mean, and that's going to still be the story. Like, some guys have left and some guys have come in, and all guys are still going to be up there, and Zilich is definitely going to be up there. I would much rather have Zilich at 8-1 than Smith at 10-1. And I don't know. I haven't seen enough to make me love the kid, and I think that he's just going to kind of continue to be, he might be able to win here or there, sure, some decent runs in the JRM equipment, but he doesn't seem like a championship contender type for me.
So he only won 1 race last year, and that was at Talladega. He led 65 laps in total in the course of the entire season. Average finish of 15.2. So, I mean, he even finished worse than he started more often than not. 13.8 was his average start. 15.2 was his average finish. So I don't know that we're talking championship caliber driver. This is a guy that I would like to see at a higher number, longer odds than 10-1, especially like you said, when we're kind of lumping him in close enough to the Connor Ziliches and the Sheldon Creeds of the world to make me consider him. Next on the list, Taylor Gray. Well, let's lump both of these guys together because both of these guys, shockingly high odds or long odds for both of these guys, considering, well, Taylor Gray is about to be a rookie, a true rookie, right? I mean, he did make some starts last year, but this is his rookie season. And then Nick Sanchez at 12-1, flat out rookie. Like, I get it, they're in good equipment, but 12-1 for these guys to win the championship?
Yeah, I just, you know how much I love Taylor Gray, you know how much I love JGR, but I haven't seen it from Taylor that I think he's going to be that guy, right? He had the opportunity last year in the Truck Series, in a Tricon truck, and he didn't even win a race. So I find it hard to believe that he's really going to be a serious competitor to win the championship. Could he compete for some race wins? Yes. I hate how down I am on this JGR Xfinity stable this year. If they have the all-star car with Nemechek and Almirola, I'm going to love betting on that car plenty. But I'm not in on Taylor Gray at this price. Only 12-1. It's just not big enough. And then for Nick Sanchez, Rod, he's going to replace Parker Kligerman in that 48 car. And yes, we saw some great strides by that car. We saw some good runs by Sanchez in the Truck Series. But do we think that car is a 12-1 championship contender? Absolutely not. And I don't know that Sanchez is Sanchez an upgrade from Kligerman? I think maybe in like young, has some potential talent. Sure, Kligerman's an older guy that's been around and knows what he's doing, but I think that probably was more what that team needed. I don't see it. I'm definitely not interested in Sanchez at this price. And really, I don't know that there's a price you could make me interested in Sanchez if we're going to be completely honest.
Well, and look, how many championships has the 48 team won in Xfinity at all anyway, right? So it's like, you want him to do it, and I don't think it's especially not this year.
They've done a good job building that team up, right?
Sure.
And they had guys like Tyler Reddick get in the car and really helped him out. And Sanchez has actually run some races in the car, and Kligerman brought that program farther, and they're continuing to take steps, but they're not in the conversation. I mean, he's favored by almost 3 times as much as guys in JGR cars, Rod. What are we doing, guy? Christian Eckes, what?
Sorry.
No,
Sorry. It's
absolutely not. It blows my mind that he's even. I have no idea why he should be this high on the list. And I hope we get some season-long head-to-heads that I could take against him, because I love the kid and he's got talent, but this team and him are not at this point right now.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you on that one. So I'm automatically just saying no to both of those, these should be longer than 12-1. I think the books are trying to hedge when they don't need to hedge, because this is not something we're even entertaining. So I think they're losing money by offering these guys at this price, because maybe at 24-1, maybe at 30-1, I'm thinking about it, but not right now at 12-1. So, all right, let's move on to the guy that I really want to talk about, because I love me some Jesse Love. He's the cover guy for a reason, because that nice little grin on his face as he's sitting there staring at you, staring at the question, can he be the 2025 Xfinity Series champion? I think he's got a hell of a shot to do it. This guy, a lot like Connor Zilic, came in with a flourish, right? He won a race. He was finishing second to open the season. He just had this drive straight out of the gate that had you just kind of on the edge of your seats, a couple of poles to start the season, right? And so he's priced. See, this is what I don't get. He's 15-1, and he had a hell of a season last year versus guys how
is Nick Sanchez in a worse car as a rookie a better price than Jesse Love? Yeah, Preston, exactly. How's he longer odds than Sanchez? This is very mispriced. And actually, I think that Love opened at 20-1. And he's already down to 15-1. You should go bet this right now, because Jesse Love, we saw last year, he's got some promise and he looks good. We talked about it with his teammate at the top, Austin Hill, right? RCR's maybe still a step behind, but with the potential back step of JGR, they can be right there. Love is good. He is very good. Should not be this price. Probably will not stay at this price. I absolutely would bet Jesse Love today at 15-1. And actually, I'm probably going to do that right now. I'll be right back, Rod.
Yeah, Cody's going to go drive.
I got to call the accountant and have some funds allocated.
Going to go drive to the casino and place this one. 9 of 11 top 10 finishes for him to end the season. His only finishes outside of the top 10 was a 12th place at Martinsville and a 19th place at the Roval. I mean, the kid finished so strong.
His teammate's the second best guy on, like, the second odds on the list. And Austin Hill's a veteran. He's been around. He's been doing it. But Love showed up and he did it last year. So, yeah, I'm very shocked that he's this far down the list. And I'm glad that you put him as the cover guy for the show, because I think that he definitely needs to be highlighted and absolutely deserves a bet at this price.
Well, and it was a true rookie season for him, because he only had 3 races in the Truck Series to even I get so excited that I start hitting my microphone cable. I'm telling you, for Christmas, if anybody wants to gift me, I'm going to put an Amazon wish list up in Discord. If anybody wants to gift me a brand new mic cable, that would be like the only thing that I would ask for Christmas. And it's probably like $6. I would buy it myself, but brothers got to eat, so I can't necessarily spend it on my cables. But no, 3 races in the Truck Series before he even jumped into the Xfinity Series. So, I mean, he was literally straight from ARCA straight into his Xfinity ride for the most part. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a great improvement for him now that he has learned, right? Maybe a couple of those poles can turn into a couple of wins this coming season. And I agree with you. My favorite one, and I put a heart around it, was Jesse Love. So, yeah. Rod, what are you eating for $6 in this economy? Look, man, chicken nuggets are not cheap, my friend. A 20-piece still costs you about $10 in California. So,
Well,
yeah.
and Boji Joe asking, can Love win at Phoenix, though?
But
Rod,
he doesn't have to win.
Well, no, he doesn't have to, but they raced there March 9th of his rookie season last year, and he finished in second place.
Yeah.
Before we knew who he was. And then he still finished sixth there in the fall race where he wasn't even in the championship race. So, yeah, and TK saying that he ran better than Hill at Phoenix, may struggle to make the Final Four. Yeah, making the Final Four could be an issue, but at this price, in a weaker field than we've seen previously, I like it.
I do too. So rubber stamp on Love, maybe make that little heart emoji around him, and we'll be good to go for that one. All right. There's only really a couple more that I want to bring up right away, and then we can just kind of go through the rest of them and say if anybody jumps out. But Carson Kvapil, 25-1. Look, this is another one of those guys, right? Where
this one has to pique your interest because Carson Kvapil, he's going to be the third guy at JRM, and he's not developed to the level that Zilich is, which is why Zilich is 8-1, and I think that Zilich is the better bet. But at 25-1 in a JRM car with all the potential that he does have, he is a late model guy, Rod. That means short flat tracks. Phoenix is a what?
Short flat track.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, I think that at 25-1, he definitely consideration. I'm not running to the window like I am with Jesse Love, but I don't know that it's a bad idea to bet this guy. Going to be in good equipment. We know that he's talented. His father, if you don't know, Travis Kvapil, was in the Cup Series and Xfinity. He's in the trucks for a long time, but ran in Xfinity, ran in Cup for Penske even for a bit. So he's got it in his bloodlines, and he is a very good young driver. I think that more green than a guy like Zilich, but over a long season, if you could put that together and things click at the right time at the end, like we saw with the Sam Mayer 2 seasons ago, where he ripped off all those wins at the end of the season, didn't finish on a championship, but yeah, you definitely have to consider a guy like Kvapil at this number.
I completely agree with you on that one. Preston talking about Rod discovered DMB in 94, born in 98. You feel old yet? No, I feel old because Carson Kvapil was born on May 22nd of 2003. That, my friend,
that even makes me feel old.
I was a year out from getting out of active duty in the Army at that point, at 27 years old. That makes me feel old. But yeah, definitely a raw driver, right? He's 21 years old now, but yeah, definitely somebody. He drove that 88 car to a 4th place finish in Martinsville, 2nd place at Dover, 5th at Loudon, 10th at Indy. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be excited for if you're a Carson Kvapil fan and a JRM fan in general, like I am. Speaking of which, Brandon Jones, 30-1, instant thumbs down from me. Sorry, Brandon. Even at 30-1, buddy.
No, Rod, this is a must bet. You have to bet Brandon Jones at 30-1. Look, Brandon Jones is returning to Joe Gibbs Racing, and he's going to be the lead guy over there, Rod. He is listed the highest in the odds, or tied with the teammate, but highest in the odds of the JGR cars. And Brandon Jones, I know I tried so hard to just will it into place last year, Rod, but he was with JRM and he was never a guy over there, and it just didn't work out, and that's why he's returning to Joe Gibbs Racing. Talk about guys with money. Brandon Jones can go anywhere he wants to because he's got a lot of fucking money, and he brings that Menard sponsorship. His father, if you don't know, is the president of Ream, and they have all that partnership stuff, and they go with him anywhere, and he's been everywhere. He's been with RCR and Gibbs and JRM. He's going back to Gibbs. But when he was with Gibbs, Rod, he won some races. He's got 5 career wins to his name. He was a few turns away from making the Final Four was that 3 seasons ago? And his teammate, Ty Gibbs, who was already locked in, dumped him and forced him to not be in the Final Four, but he was going to be there. You're going back to a guy just a few seasons ago in this very car that was a few turns from making the Final Four. You're getting him at 40-1. Oh, you want to know how good Brandon Jones is at Phoenix, Rod? I would love to tell you as soon as I get it pulled up, because Brandon Jones is actually good at Phoenix. And I am going to tell you all about that in 1 second here.
I wish you guys could watch this, because Cody's literally tap dancing on the screen right now. Go watch YouTube.
All right,
we can see him tap dance.
Let's go back to his time at Joe Gibbs Racing here, Rod. November of 22, 11th place finish. Good finish there. March of 22, second place finish, led 30 laps on the day. November 21, 7th, a 33rd in there, but November of 2020, third place finish. March of 2020, wins the race, 11th, 7th, 7th, 11th, all in Joe Gibbs Racing equipment. He was really good at Phoenix, and even despite his bad times at JRM, 7th here last spring, 11th in the previous fall, some good runs. I am very big on the Brandon Jones train, especially going back to JGR, where he was good before. It's so hard, Rod, at times. You think about guys like Harrison Burton and think of what a shitty view we've had on Harrison Burton the last few years. Sure, he got that win at Daytona, was great story, all that, but like not a good driver, didn't deserve to be in the Cup Series. Now he's relegated to a worse thing. But he won races and competed at JGR because it's really good equipment and they're good enough drivers. They're not next level elite. They're never going to be Cup Series stars, but they're good enough in the Xfinity Series to put themselves in a position to get to Phoenix. And if you can get to Phoenix, you can win. And a 30-1 in this equipment, probably the only JGR car that's making it, if I'm going to be honest, or has a chance to make it, I think. He's going to have all that focus behind him in a weaker field in general. Brandon Jones could shock everybody and get it done at 30-1. I've already bet on Brandon Jones to win this title. Immediate thumbs down. That's how Rod leads off Brandon Jones. I can't believe you, Rod.
I don't know.
And again, if you followed us last year, I know he burned you a few times. I get it. But the potential that Brandon Jones has is why we kept going back to that well. He He continues to be disrespected in the numbers. He's going to continue to be. And I guarantee you, when we get to Kansas and Las Vegas and Michigan and short, flat tracks, the other place where he's good at, we're going to keep betting on him. He's good at super speedways. Really, he's good just about everywhere. I fucking love Brandon Jones, and I'm so happy he's gone back to JGR, Rod.
Well, this is the Xfinity Series show where we are allowed to disagree as much as humanly possible. I vehemently do not like Brandon Jones as much as you do. So I will not be placing this bet, nor will I allow my comrades to place this bet. So you all can go out there and do it at your own peril. But all right, that's honestly, that's about the line, right? That's the line where
I think there's some people who want us to talk about William Sawalich, Rod. So I think we should address it.
Okay, well then William Sawalich, 30-1.
He's also going to be in the JGR car, so great, good. If you know me and if you just heard me talk about Brandon Jones, I love JGR cars, Rod. I do not love William Sawalich. William Sawalich has got all this hype, and he's dominated in the ARCA series. I get it. Sometimes you got to be careful looking at that because there's only about 4 cars that are good in the Xfinity Series, and he's been in one of those. What has he done that makes you feel good about him going into this ride and having a shot at the championship? Let me read you his finishes in the Truck Series.
This is what we've done. Ready? This is what he's done. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah. He was in the Tricon All-Star Truck last year, Rod. He started 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 races. 11th place, his best finish. And just not impressive anywhere. He didn't do good anywhere. And then he got starts in a JGR car in the Xfinity Series. Okay, here's our opportunity. 24th, 33rd, and 13th. He started on the pole at Phoenix. Props to him for that. And he finished 13th. He didn't even lead a single fucking lap, Rod. William Sawalich is getting a lot of love and steam, and I hope I'm wrong, but I am completely out on the William Sawalich train, and I don't even think at 30-1. I'm not even considering betting it when he should be one of the top 2 cars at JGR this coming season. I forgot. Sorry. I forgot about Taylor Gray, but he's going to be the 3rd car at JGR. I'm not interested in William Sawalich at all.
He's the epitome
He's not even in the same conversation as Zilich.
No, not even close.
No, it's nowhere. It's not. It's two completely different conversations.
This is big fish, small pond, because a lot of times when they're as super successful in ARCA as they are, you think that's going to translate immediately over to an Xfinity Series or something. And sometimes it does, but most times it doesn't. Like there's a lot of great ARCA Series drivers that come over to Xfinity and get their ass handed to them week after week. So I understand. And for this part in particular, I will tell you this, Cody. This is where I will relent. I would take Brandon Jones over William Sawalich.
That, if anything tells you anything about Sawalich, that's what it is. Preston also saying Xfinity show is the reason mom and dad need marriage counseling. And Boji Joe says, I've lost my fucking mind. Can you lose something you don't have, Boji Joe?
Yeah, no. I can attest to that. No, you cannot. Right, so there's Sawalich.
Yeah.
Anybody
So Harrison
else?
Burton, not interested at all. Christian Eckes at 35-1 is interesting, Rod. Actually, it's more than interesting. Let me look up. So Christian Eckes, Rod, is going to he's going to Colleague, right? And if you think about Colleague's Xfinity program, it's not been overly great in the past. But go back just a couple of years ago. Was it 3 seasons ago when AJ Allmendinger won the regular season title in a Colleague car? Let me see. I'm trying to pull up his stats because I believe, if I can fucking spell, that Christian Eckes is really good at Phoenix, Rod, and he finished third in the Xfinity or the Truck Series last year. He won in the previous season, 6th, 4th in a couple starts prior to that. Why can I not find his Xfinity stats?
I mean, look, I get it, and I understand that the regular season championship is one thing with Colleague, but I just, for the championship, he's got a lot of heavy hitters around him. This isn't the Truck Series where he's going to be jockeying.
Does he though? Like, let's go back and look at the depth of the Xfinity Series this season. Allgaier, Hill. Okay, those are the two guys that are like, these are the veterans. They should be there, but there's still questions, right? Creed, you can make the case, but you could also make the case against. Mayer, you could make the case and make the case against. Chandler Smith doesn't have a ride. Zilich, we think, is in. Sammy Smith, no. Gray, no. Sanchez, no. Love, we like, but it's not a guaranteed deal. Quapple, we like, but it's okay. But even if he gets there, like you don't have. But then it's Sawalich, Brandon Jones, who I made a case for, but that's not a sure thing. Like Christian Eckes at 35-1. Actually, I am going to bet on because I don't think Christian Eckes has he even raced in the Xfinity Series?
No.
No, that's why I can find Xfinity stats around.
Yeah, he has not taken a start
so,
yet.
No, but he's been, and he was really good on short tracks and short flats, specifically in the Truck Series last year. He dominated the Truck Series. We talk so much about Corey Heim, but Christian Eckes led laps in all but 2 races. He's really talented. Yeah, no, I'm the more I thought about it, and I've talked myself through it here, I am way in on Christian Eckes this year because he is set up. He's the lead guy over there. Josh Williams is not good. Daniel Dye's fine, but he's not great. Christian Eckes is the guy. AJ Allmendinger had a lot of success in that car just a couple of seasons ago. SVG, look, road courses last year he was competitive. He was decent enough on ovals. Christian Eckes, it's 35-1 for a reason, yeah, but you can create a pretty solid path that puts him there, and if he can get there, he could do it. And if you put him and AJ Allmendinger head-to-head in the same car at Phoenix, give me Christian Eckes all day. And AJ made it there last. AJ was just in the Final Four, Rod. Yes, you have to bet Christian Eckes 35-1. Thank you for allowing me to talk myself into that bet.
You're welcome. I'm still not there with you yet.
I feel like the Always Sunny meme where like I've connected all these strings, and then I remembered at the end, AJ just made it to the Final Four in this car. Yes. Conspiracy complete. You have to bet on that.
Should I change your name to Charlie? All right, Charlie. This is all you then, buddy. All right, so that's about the end of the line. I don't know that anybody else past this is even piquing my interest. There's Parker Retzlaff at 75-1 in his new Alpha Prime equipment. Daniel Dye at 100-1.
Ryan Sieg. First of all, Ryan Sieg at 35-1. Massive respect they're giving him. Shout out to that, but don't bet it.
No, don't bet that.
Yeah, no, nobody else. I mean,
You want Matt DiBenedetto at 100 to 1? Can I interest you in a Matt DiBenedetto at 100 to 1?
No.
Chris Wright, 500 to 1. There you go, guys. Go place that now.
There you go. Yeah.
You're gonna
nobody else on this list. Daniel Dye is interesting at 100 to 1, but I'm not. No, I mean, we saw a lot of progress from him. Great. He's going to be in college, so maybe that'll be decent. But yeah, no.
That's it. That's about as far down the list as I can feel comfortable even talking about these drivers. We'll obviously talk more about them as the season progresses, and we'll see what the win totals give us here later on, and we'll talk through those as we get down to the rest of the off season, which is evaporating quickly. Cody, we're running out of days before the Clash.
Yes, we are running out of days, Rod. It is 59 days until the Daytona 500, which quick math means 45 days until the Clash at Bowman Gray. Oh, dude,
you almost had to call him again.
I did, but yes, we're almost there, Rod.
Well, Boji Joe saying Jess just lost her pants, Rod. Chris, right now I'll really make it interesting by saying Chris, right.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. All right, that's a good place to end. Cody, let's bow out for the week, and we'll come back on Monday actually. So
yeah.
let's roll out the schedule for next week. We're gonna try to keep this.
It's Christmas week, so we might be a little fluid with it, but the plan currently, Monday's show, we'll take off Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then back Thursday and Friday to wrap it up. So again, subscribe to the YouTube, hit the bell, and you'll know when we go live, and then you won't have any problems.
Yep, these Santas have to be able to deliver presents to all the good kids in their house, which for me is lucky. There's none.
The most important part.
What's the most important part?
Eating the cookies.
Oh yeah, oh my God, hell yeah, that's my favorite part too. Eating all the brownies and the cookies in the house. So,
that's right.
All right, yeah. So that'll be next week, and we're excited to come back and talk some more NASCAR. But in the meantime, let's enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Yes, let's do that, Rod. And make sure you follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff there. Ton of football content. Got a Penn State SMU preview out. Ton of NFL previews out or coming out. Motorsports articles. Got some more coming out this weekend as well. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. And follow the show as well at NASCAR Gambling. See you guys next week.
Indeed, yes. Follow me on Twitter and on Blue Sky at RJ Villagomez. There's a link in the bio to everything that I've got going on, whether it's here, whether it is a sportsbook review. I've got some first touchdown things coming out for that as well. So keep an eye out on that. And then there's another little thing that we got going on that I've got a few things that I've done here and there. Namely actually putting out some hockey stuff lately for the Pro Women's Hockey League. I've had darts out there on this site. There's been a lot of stuff that we've done, and I'm having some fun with that. So go check that out. Links in the bio to that as well. All right. See you guys. Happy birthday, Boji Joe. And we'll see you guys all next week. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.